Prophet Marshall Prince. So this video is going to be about the spiritual offering is the equivalent of putting money on the head of these secret societies and witchcraft people. The spiritual offering is the equivalent of putting money on the head of these witchcraft people and these secret societies. That's what we're doing. It's like putting money on their head. Because see, if you don't say this, they'll think this is just a church offering. No, this ain't just a church offering, bro. Sorry you thought it was just a church offering. No, this ain't, see, we gonna prove this with the scripture. Because when you put money on somebody's head, what happens? Destruction. That's what happens. So it's the equivalent of the process of putting money on somebody's head and they get destroyed. When you put some money on somebody's head, what happened to them? So you didn't think, I told y'all, man. You thought I was trying to be cool. You think I'm trying to be a Christian rapper. No disrespect to Christian rappers. You think I'm trying to be a Christian rapper, don't you? That's perfectly sad. Adding in these little additives, putting money on people's head, but ain't nothing done. You know how some of these Christian rappers say, oh yeah, I put money on the head of a demon. Okay, when did you really do that? I put money on the head of a witch. I put money on the head of a witch. Did you? You put some money out there? Did you actually put some money out there? I actually put some money out there, bro. Now, because the Christian rappers got the little ad libs. I put money on the head of the demon. I put money on the head of the rich. Now, instead of putting money on the head of the witch, you should be trying to put money on the head of the rich. Well, I do a little bit of both. How about a combination of both? How about a combo? Fries, some milkshake. Put money on the head of the rich and the witch. But buddy, that's what we doing over here. We put money on the head of witchcraft people, and I'm gonna prove that with scripture. Because see, when you put money on somebody's head, basically enforcers are sent out, and that person is destroyed. So ultimately, the money is their destruction. Basically, in essence, the money is their destruction. If it wasn't for the money, there would be no destruction, would there? In the case of putting some money on somebody's head. Okay, so in my case, the money is still their destruction. We're putting it in God's kingdom, and God's angels and his kingdom is sent out against the witches and the warlocks. See, if you don't put your mind like this and realize we are like the special forces of in spiritual warfare, and we do special things. And this is one of the special things. See, if you get caught up in the religious church, you're gonna think just an offering is just an offering. You can't say it's gonna put money on the heads of the witches and warlocks. Yes, I can. Because you know why? Because I know that God is gonna answer my first and immediate need. And if somebody putting witchcraft on you, your first immediate need is what? For that to be handled. That's your first immediate need, for that to be handled, right? Okay, so when you give your offering, what you think gonna happen? Your first immediate needs are gonna be met. Either way it goes. But I'm just a little more proactive and pro-attentive about it, to where that's where my heart faith posture is at. My faith posture is, I'm expecting God to destroy these witchcraft and secret society people when I put this money out there. in various different ways. Okay? In various different ways. Not just physical harm, financial harm, all different types of harm. People in their family suffering and loss in their family. All of that. Okay? At the same time, we will not be sized up like little teenagers. That time is over. I don't care nothing about your opinion. I don't care nothing about how you feel. I don't care what you think about my history. I will not be sized up like some little teenager. Some little puppy that you're checking out the balls on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be sized up like that. You know what I'm saying? So, here we are. Where for the first time I can say I done sent money down to Mexico. In the most dangerous part of Mexico. As of 2026. So I found a couple places. And I got the addresses on those places. And it's right down there in the area where all that stuff just happened with the drug lord that just got killed. So I found some churches down there. And mind you, I'm already working with Mexicans in California. I'm already working with some Mexicans out there. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing for the past 2 years. I've been working with some Mexicans in California. So no, this is progression. This is the first time I sent an offering out there to Mexico. So we looking for new energy, a new power, a new wave, new victories, as of today, you know what I'm saying? We just waiting for it. But that money is put out on the heads of everybody that's involved, man. Like, that's just what it is. If you think you're gonna duck that, you're not. If you think you're gonna duck that, you're not. Because you shouldn't have been involved. You was involved, and you shouldn't have been involved. That's life. Nobody goes out into the streets and think, well, ain't nothing gonna happen to me. Let's just look at it from the streets perspective. You go out to the streets and start playing with people you don't really know. Do anybody do that and then expect nothing to happen to them? Nobody don't just go out to the streets and then start playing with people and think nothing else supposed to happen. You see what I'm saying? I don't know what people think I come from. But the last time I checked, I come straight from the streets. Literally, man. Last time I checked, I come straight from the streets. Literally, bro. Like, on the streets. So, when you play with me, listen, it's no different than going out here playing in the streets with somebody and then you expect nothing to happen. It don't work like that. It don't matter what year it is. It don't matter about the police. It don't matter about no businesses, programs, organizations, or whatever else. If you play out here, man, ain't nobody gonna let that go, and they gonna stay attentive to you. They gonna stay focused on you till you dead. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. It's like that right now. It's like that right now, man. And this is no exception to these rules, man. You can't come out here and play in the streets and long as you play, look at that, man. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. We already know what time it is, man. We ain't trying to baby nobody, and we ain't trying to make it work. I don't care how young they are. See, when you start making excuses, I expect those excuses to have kept you out the way. No, think about what I said. If you smart, you caught that. As soon as you start making excuses, I would have expected any of those excuses to have kept you out the way. So if you say, I'm gay, well, that should have kept you out the way then. You should have been over there with the RuPaul crew. With the RuPaul Tough crew. You should have been with the RuPaul crew. Okay, so how you wind up over here in the streets? Now you see what I'm saying? It's because people want that same respect, and then you don't want to take what comes with it, which is sometimes people get lowered into the grave. Everybody don't make it out with this grand story. See, you watching that stuff on the internet. Game over for a lot of people. That's what happens. Everybody don't got these stories of glory. If you use the excuse, well, we're young, well, young should have kept you out the way playing video games. You should have been like a little nerd back and forth to GameStop with your little money, with your little EBT. You should have been back and forth getting a little game every month with your little EBT, bro. If you claim to be like a little kid or a little young dude, then people would have had mercy if you was out the way, and all they seen you do is go back and forth to GameStop. Then you would have got mercy. But you wasn't like that. You know what you did? You came and played in the field. You don't see it that way. That's what you did, bro. And ain't nobody else but these dumb Americans gonna see it any other way. If you tell people in Mexico what you done, they slaughter everybody. And ain't nobody trying to hit nothing. Once we get down to the bottom of it, and this person minding their business and you ain't got no charges, case closed, buddy. That's child's play. That's ignorance. And they get slaughtered for it. In so many words, they will call you niggas and you die for it. You're niggas that play and you die. That's the jungle, buddy. And nobody warns anybody out here playing in the field. You don't play in the field out here. And I don't know what you thought about me. I made myself clear, and you still challenge me. Soon as I made myself clear who I was, you should say, "Oh, that ain't a gay dude." You didn't do that. You challenged who you went. You persisted in challenging who I was. Yes or no? Okay then. Then nobody feels sorry for you. Okay, you had plenty of time. That's how God gonna look at it. That's how the streets gonna look at it. That's how I'm gonna look at it. Ain't nobody confused about this but you. And these other stupid little chicken heads you got out here. They the only ones walking around confused. You play in the field, even the police will tell you, we can't protect you if you play with real niggas. The police will tell you that. We cannot protect you if you play with real niggas. The police cannot protect you every day, 24/7. And if they catch you doing that, they gonna say, yo, we can't protect you when you play with these type of individuals. We can't be here all the time and save you and have your back. So if you're not in that lane, the police will tell you this. If you're not in that lane, bro, listen, stay out of those people's face. Stay away from them people. You heard a little bit of whatever you heard. It mixed with nigger stuff, and then you heard other stuff, and then you heard things about my sexuality, and that put a battery in your back. But I warned you. I warned you not to play with me, bro. I did, and everybody know I did. I sent warning shots and warning shots and warning shots and warning shots. And because you thought I was just black, another black guy, even though I'm part Latino and Filipino, that's why I'm a little more serious than the average black dude. And I'm a little more cutthroat, that's right, than the average black dude. And you thought it was a game because you sized me up as just another black dude. And if I was, but I'm not. If I was just another black dude, then that's what it would be. But I'm not. I'm Italian, I'm Filipino, and I'm Latino. Now you see the problem. See, the niggas is not used to taking each other seriously. But I made you take me seriously. Oh yeah, oh yeah, and that would be signature for Latinos and Italians and Asians. You gonna take me? You gonna take me seriously? Okay? You can't take me out, buddy. Because here's the punchline: God is on my side. I just put money on your head. Okay? You tried to make it a gangster story, but you're not a gangster story. You tried to make it a gangster story, but you're not a gangster story. So imagine that. I'm a soldier. It's a soldier's story. You tried to play a gangster or with the street. How we know? Because you was too linked to the streets. You was sitting back with the music and everything, like you styling with the streets. I call it how I see it. And you couldn't, listen, you couldn't fully play that position. You got to play that position all the way to the end, and you couldn't do it. That's the difference. But now you understand the difference between soldiers, thugs, real niggas, and fake niggas. And one of the main things is who folds. I don't fold. I don't fold, bro. Just when you think I did, I didn't. I don't fold, man. You folded. These people suicidal. Let's talk about it. Half of these secret society people that played with me, they suicidal. I ain't never been suicidal one day in my life. That's one thing nobody has to worry about. I ain't never been suicidal. I ain't gonna never take my life. You tripping. I ain't never thought about it. I can honestly say I've never thought about taking my own life. Okay? These secret society people, you have over and over again wanted to die. Please, you voiced, articulated that you wanted to die. That's folding. That's not, I'm still on the battlefield, I'm soldiering forward. That's none of that. That's folding. That's folding, bro. And it's a cautionary tale of sitting back, not taking people seriously, and black people are good for doing that. That's why they kill each other all the time, because they don't take each other seriously all the time. And the one that you don't take seriously is the one that's gonna get you. You know how? Because your guard gonna be down and you're gonna be slipping, and that's the one that's gonna get you. You know, tell me how else does it happen? Tell me how else does it happen? Tell me. Well, if you took this person seriously, then you will make proper adjustments. Whether you in the streets or back and forth in the streets, it's people that get lax and sleep on their enemies and sleep on ops, and you wind up dead. You don't take each other seriously. That's one of your problems. I'm not that person to sleep on, bro. And I made myself clear long time ago. That's why in 2026, I have no compassion, I have no mercy, I have no empathy or apathy. I don't go into each year with the same energy, the funky same energy and vibe. I don't move like that. I might not change my clothes, but I change my attitude and I change my rank. This is uniform. I don't go get clothes like I'm a teenager. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grown man. I'll get back to getting clothes later. I go back to getting shoes and everything else later. I'd rather spend every dollar putting money on these people's head. That's what I'm doing. I'm putting money on their head. You know what I'm saying? All this hip-hop baby stuff, hip-hop babies, all these hip-hop babies, bro, that's what I call you. People influenced by hip-hop, and that's what put a battery in your back. Listen, man, you played yourself, bro. You played yourself. I told y'all. Listen, I know you're influenced by hip hop. That's what got you out here. If you take away the music from America, half of these people wouldn't even be like that. If you take away the music from specifically America, where there is no cocaine trade, no real cocaine trade that we even take seriously here. If you took away the music and the culture, these black people wouldn't even be the same. They'd be probably somewhere breakdancing and dancing around in the street somewhere, doing music like you used to. You'll be around doing music like you used to, singing on the blocks like Belle Bill DeVoe. You'll be Belle Bill DeVoe singing on the block somewhere. But you traded Belle Bill DeVoe for to be like one of these rappers. You don't want to be like Belle Bill DeVoe no more, do you? BBD. You don't want to be BBD no more, do you? That's all I'm saying, man. You came out here and played in the field, and listen, the worst thing you did was play with God's people out here in the field. It's not an excuse, bro. And see, I call you a coward because I know you wouldn't have done it to nobody else, whether it was the police. It's the combination between the police. We know it's the police. Police wouldn't play with no gangsters. If you didn't have no charges, you know you would go to hell. That's what you would do. So then we take it personal. Yes, I do. Because I know whoever it is wouldn't be doing this if it was gangsters and you ain't have no charges on the gangsters. If you ain't have charges on people that you feared, in other words, that you know that can enforce on you, if you didn't have people, if it was some people that could enforce, you would have been done let this go. You would just be glad to be done with it. But you're not glad to be done with it because you think I'm somebody to play with. And now, your worst fears are realized. That I'm your worst nightmare. In fact, I'm worse than the streets. And once again, the cautionary tale that niggas succumb to all the time is playing with the wrong people will always get you killed. Has once again manifest for everybody to see. This is no different than what happens in the streets all the time. Little clown niggas playing with the wrong people. And you in the name of hip hop and thinking you some gangsters that you're not. And you wind up creating liabilities for yourself and for your family. Because I told everybody, look, besides a conversation with you, I told everybody that I'm going to be respected. This side right here is going to be respected like the mob, buddy. And now you see it coming into fruition. We're going to be respected like the mob. That's by police. That's by everybody. Because, see, I know also if you ain't got nothing on the mob and you the police, you gonna go screw yourself, bro. You're going to go to hell and screw yourself in hell. That's what you're going to do. If you're feeling some type of way after that, or you taking it personal, or you've personalized some type of investigation against somebody and it's become personal to you, if it's a gangster that you fear and that it's the mob, right? If it's the mob, you're going to go and screw yourself in hell. That's what you're going to do. No matter how you feel. Okay? And me and you both know that, don't we? If you was playing around the mob, and even if you felt it was personal, when you find that you got nothing and they're a threat to you, I guarantee you're gonna go screw yourself in hell. No matter how you feel. No matter how you feel, buddy. So then the smart man realizes you just playing with me. Because if it was a gangster and if it was the mob, I guarantee you wouldn't be out here. It wouldn't be no secret societies moving around out here. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be no police. It wouldn't be no kids or little dumb teenagers or whoever else. It wouldn't be no old ladies or young ladies or stupid ladies or fat ladies. It would be nobody out here. You know why? Because you would be defecating bricks if you had beef with the mob, buddy. You would be defecating bricks. Now you see yourself, don't you? See, what you call treacherous or cutthroat God can become that too without the additives, I guess you could say. Without all the additives, God can destroy you worse than a treacherous person can destroy you. All you got to do, once again, is play with somebody that you shouldn't be playing with. And that's what you've done in spirituality. And so let me let you know what I know. I know you wouldn't even be walking around like this if you had problems with the mob. So you think you can play with me. That's how I take it. Because even if you heard stuff about this person, you still wouldn't be out here. You understand, right? You follow me, right? You're not stupid, right? Okay, so you can't say, oh, it's because of what we heard. Because even if you heard this stuff about another person that was a mob figure, you would let it go. You would be glad to let it go, so that you would be out of harm's way. Let's just say you still had the courage to see who this person was or to investigate this person. You would still be in harm's way. Right or wrong? Okay, so once you figured it out that this person is not doing anything, you would be so glad to be done with it. I guarantee you, no matter what you heard, you could have heard worse than what you heard about me. And I guarantee if it was an Italian mob figure, you would be just so glad to let it go. You will be glad to be done with it. That's for the police, where they can personalize and find your family, where mob figures can find your children and family. No matter if you're the police or not, they can find your family. Yeah, that part. So listen, buddy, you ain't dealing with no small fry, bruh. Okay? Where the mob can find your family. I can find your family. You know how I can find them? I find them in the realm of the spirit. So if you're one of these police that been playing around me and something went strange with your family, that's because of me, buddy. If you've been playing around me and something happened to your children, that's because you played with me. I don't have no compassion at this point. Because I know if it was anybody else, this is what I want the streets to know. If it was the mob, you know they would have let this go. They would have been let, and that includes niggas too. If you knew it was somebody that was a mob figure, you ain't finna hit the block like you want smoke, bruh. Not if it ain't nothing there, no. And you know this person a threat, you ain't finna come out there and you know it ain't nothing going on. No, you not. No, you think about what I'm saying. If you gonna come out there and you know this person ain't doing nothing, you gonna come out there. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not gonna come out there. You also are gonna be glad to be done with it. So you thought you could play. Now I'm trying to show you yourself, because some people so stupid they don't know themselves. So you have to show them themselves. They're not as smart as you and I to see themselves, and they'll insinuate to other people that are stupid, that can't understand themselves. They'll all have a talk and say, well, we'll do this. We would have done this to anybody. That's a lie. That's a lie. I want you to know that's a lie today. They wouldn't have done this to everybody. Soon as you found out that these people was the mob that you was playing with, and you found out that there was nothing really credible. In fact, you found this person to be a decent person, not a perfect person, but a decent person. Once you found that out, I guarantee you, if this person could do something to you and your family, you would have let it go right then, buddy. You will be glad to let it go, if not for any other reason, for the sake of your family. For the sake of your family, you would have let it go. Even if you wasn't scared and you say, well, I would still do something, but you wouldn't have done it for your family. You wouldn't keep playing with somebody and your family is vulnerable. People that gotta live their life, and maybe you don't care about your life, or maybe you'll put it on the front lines, and other people in your family is not. For them, you would let it go. So if not for any other reason, you would have let this go for other people in your family that we could have reached out and touched. You see what I'm saying? See, so I can prove. You see what I'm saying? This is where we put our thinking caps on. We know for sure that this only is happening to me. This is personalized to me. The reason how we know. The Jedi mind trick is we doing this for children. That's the Jedi mind trick. I'm like Darth Vader, right? You can't Jedi mind trick Darth Vader. You notice that? The Jedi could not Jedi mind trick Vader. I didn't see it in any movie. I didn't see Darth Vader getting Jedi mind trick. It might have worked on some lower level of enemies, but it didn't work on Vader. Trying to Jedi mind trick me is not going to work. Okay? I know what these average Americans have not even thought about. That if this was somebody from the mob, you wouldn't. It don't matter if it was about kids that had kids. While they was babies, they pushed out kids. If it was kids pooping out kids, you wouldn't care what the arrangement was about some kids. You will be glad to be done with it for your kids and your family. So you wouldn't be talking about kids, you'd be thinking about your kids. Make sense? You wouldn't be coming out here talking about, oh, well, we doing this for kids, but you putting your own kids in danger. That's 7 out. You putting your own kids in danger. Make it make sense. You didn't see it that way, right? Because you thought I was somebody to play with. That's what it was. See, I know for sure. I want you to know that I'm smart enough to know for sure that you've personalized this specifically towards me specifically. Because if it was anybody else, that's what I'm trying to show y'all. They can say they can Jedi mind trick talking about kids. It wouldn't matter, is what I'm telling you. If it was a mob figure and you had information that did not hold up in the streets or by any standard or anybody's standard, you would let it go. You would walk away. And it wouldn't matter if you're talking about some kids or not. And I know that. Because what your justification would be that ain't nothing going on. So it ain't about kids, because ain't nothing going on with kids. So why I'm going to keep going? When I know this person is a threat, when I know this person can do something to my family and it really be a situation, but it ain't no situation now, why I'm going to keep going? So see, I cracked the code that you thought I was somebody to play with, buddy. Yes, you did. And see, that's almost so cliche in America. You got to break down what I'm talking about. You thought I was someone that you could play with for fun, right? Because this shows you how sick you are as an American, that you're just glad to be playing with a human being, right? That's how we know you're a sick bastard, right? Okay? But if it was someone that you feared, that was in the mob, that could touch your family and touch these black people and do all kind of stuff to these black people in a mass amount, in a mass way, and the mob could touch people in a mass amount and mass way in the black community, I guarantee you wouldn't be coming out here. You're lying, buddy. You personalize it towards me, and I cracked the code. Now everybody know that basically you thought I was somebody to play with, but you wouldn't have done this with the mafia. No, you wouldn't have. Your idea would have been, they are not doing anything. I don't feel no need to put my family in danger. That's exactly how you would have put it. It's no need to put my family in danger. And this person, we ain't got nothing credible. This is the police talking too. We ain't got nothing credible on this person. This person ain't doing nothing. And we know these people are going to look for key investigators. They're going to look for key people, key kinds of people. They're going to look for key investigators. They're going to look for their children. And they're going to put pressure on our families, right? So why would I do that and this person ain't really doing nothing? I'm causing my own problems. That's what you're going to say. In fact, I'm making problems when there's no problems. You see, so it wouldn't matter if it was about children. That's the Jedi mind trick that you'll tell other people. Well, it's about children, but I can prove that it wouldn't matter what it was about if it was the mafia. If it was the mafia, you wouldn't care what it was about. And that proves what I'm showing you. Then that tells a smart man, well, it ain't about children. Because with children, if it was someone else, you wouldn't be doing this for children, putting your family in harm's way. So that tells a smart man it goes beyond children in this situation, because you wouldn't be doing it with no one else. Your mind went on past him being innocent to, we can just play with this person, and you can't. The irony is I'm worse than the mafia. You're starting to feel that way, aren't you? See, God, you can't tell me God doesn't have a sense of humor, because I know you're a punk. Even these females, I'm talking to you too. I know you're a punk. And I know you wouldn't play with the mafia. But you thought you could play with me, didn't you? How you feel about that now? You feel like you can play with me? You feel like you can play with me? Your worst fears are realized. I am worse than the mafia. I am worse than the mob. And I play for keeps. Right here in New York City. How much more fitting so people can really see it for what it is, and there's no mistake about it. Ain't nobody gonna be able to hide behind what happened and what didn't happen, if that makes sense. They gonna see everything for what it is. When I talk like this, New York is gonna see it just like I see it. We ain't dealing with country bumpkins. We ain't dealing with the country mouse versus the city mouse. No, we dealing with New Yorkers, right? Everybody's on the same page. Ain't nobody retarded, right? Okay. So we know like you know, and I know like we know, that if it was the mob, they would have been let this go. It don't matter if it's about 1 million kids. It could have been about 1 million kids. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to hate them from a distance. But you're going to walk away. You might hate them still. You might say what you say, but you ain't going to be in their way. You ain't going to be in their lane. No, you're not. You're going to talk junk from over there. Yeah, you might still say something, but you're going to say it over there. Way away from them. So we know that basically this ain't even about children anymore. This is about me. You get the point? It's the punchline. This is about me. They think they can play with me. You see what I'm saying? They personalized it towards me. It's something personal towards me. And it's beyond everything they heard. That's what you got to get past. That's a Jedi mind trick. No, you thought I was somebody to play with. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you a good reason, part of the reason why. You heard something about my sexuality. And for you, if somebody's gay or whatever, oh, you think you could just run over that person. That was part of it. I would say that was 30% of the part of you thinking you could continue to play with me. You just waiting for something gay to go out or happen. For me. But I told you also, you ain't seen me with no man, have you? Okay, so you're either going to grow up real quick or you're going to remain a teenager where you think I'm gay and I ain't done nothing with no gay man. Where you don't see me doing nothing with no gay man. So you either going to be a nigga or you're going to grow up. Okay, you don't see me with no man. Okay, so you're going to be a nigga if you keep talking about it. And God is going to destroy you. Because you shouldn't have been, listen, you shouldn't have been coming out here talking about somebody's gay, but the dude you talking about is practicing abstinence. He ain't even having sex with nobody. Listen, man, listen, bro. Listen, you a nigga, for a lack of a better word. For a lack of a better word to show you how despicable you are a nigga. Okay? That's all it is. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. Okay? No, it don't. You are a nigga. I call it how I see it. Okay? That's all that is going on here. Is a bunch of niggas. Whether they be black, white, or whatever color. The white man finally got around to being a nigga, didn't he? In this situation, the white man finally became a nigga, didn't he? These white Americans became niggas. That's how you know it ain't racist. Everybody's definition ain't racist. It's an ignorant person. For black people, these white folks in America finally got around to being niggas, didn't they? They finally achieved being niggas, didn't they? That's all we dealing with is black and white niggas. I call it how I see it. And I call it, and what else is it? Law-abiding, upright, standing citizens, upstanding citizens, law-abiding, upstanding citizens. It ain't that, is it? So then, what is it? What are they? They're niggas. That's what they are. They're white niggas and they're black niggas. It's a combination of both. Okay? And listen, it ain't no other way to put it. That's what they are. And as soon as you try to make them upstanding citizens, listen, you playing yourself, they niggas, and that's all there is to it. See, if you realize that, that's half the situation, and then you can look at their mind and understand everything else. That's all we dealing with. We ain't dealing with nobody that really is out here trying to do the right thing and all that. Nah, we dealing with niggas. That's all we dealing with. That's it. That's what we dealing with. So when you realize that, you don't try to figure this out as if you dealing with a law-abiding, upstanding citizen. You dealing with niggas. Whether they be police niggas, white police niggas, and black police niggas, or street niggas, or white niggas on the street. That's what we dealing with. But we winning. That's the good news against the niggas. We winning. Okay? But you ain't. But listen, you ain't got me food. Is what I'm trying to show. You got these other people food. These dinky white people. These dinky black people. You got them food. They dinky. Do I seem dinky to you? Dinky wouldn't ever be a word to describe me with my level of sarcasm at minimum. I'm too sarcastic to be dinky, buddy. Well, you notice dinky people don't have a high level of sarcasm. Well, I've never seen it. I've never seen a dinky person with a high level of sarcasm. They just sarcasm here, sarcasm there, just high levels of tricky sarcasm, but they dinky. Well, the sarcasm shows you how smart they are. So you can't be a stupid, sarcastic person. You ever notice that? A sarcastic person is an intelligent person. They know how to take the truth and spin it around and make you look like a dummy. Listen, that's the truth. A stupid person can't be sarcastic. No, listen. A crazy person can't be sarcastic. And a low IQ person cannot have a decent level of sarcasm. It's cliche. Yeah, you came back, didn't you? Oh, that's how. That's a level of sarcasm they can. That's the only level of sarcasm they can have. I'm too sarcastic to be dinky, buddy. You, on the other hand, are dinky. You know how I know you're dinky? Because you thought I wouldn't figure this all out. You put me in this room and thought I wouldn't figure it all out. You put me in this building and neighborhood and thought I wouldn't figure it all out. Because you halfway dinky. You wouldn't expect another dinky person to come from your dinky perspective or who think like you. You wouldn't expect them to figure it out. Because they on dinky time, ain't they? They ain't on demon time, they on dinky time. They on dinky time, ain't they? They on dinky time. They dinky. Airhead, in other words. Dumb blonde, in other words. Dinky. Airhead. Kelly Bundy. You thought I was Kelly Bundy, didn't you? You thought I was Kelvin Bundy. Give me a name close to Kelly. You thought I was Kevin Bundy, didn't you? You thought I was Kevin Bundy. Kenny Bundy. You thought I was Kenny Bundy, didn't you? Well, you can tell my level of sarcasm, buddy, if you're smart yourself. Listen, a dinky person can't be sarcastic. Okay? And whoop you with sarcasm, and whoop you with the truth and sarcasm at one time. It's an art. It's an art you don't know about. Listen, buddy, let me tell you something. You're not going to get out of this like you think you are. No, do you see it? I already figured the whole situation out, that you brought me here on purpose. You don't think I figured that out yet? I have. So now the person you see realizes everything. Figured it out? Did you hear me? Did you hear me? Did you hear me? Did you hear me? Holler if you hear me. Holler if you hear me. Ah! Holler if you hear me, buddy. Listen, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. You shouldn't have put a man like me in this situation. Because you know what I'm going to do? Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to show everybody in the Brooklyn community what we talking about. I'm going to show them with this fake staff ain't nothing but witchcraft. That's all that is. These fake people in here ain't nothing but witchcraft. This is what we talking about. Like I'm stupid. That ain't no staff. That's witchcraft people. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing but witchcraft. It's a whole function of witchcraft down there. Did I hit it on the head or not? That's exactly what it is. Okay, so I figured you out. Have you figured me out? Did you figure me out? No, you did not. No, you did not. That's why you're in the situation you're in right now. That's 7 out. Listen, that's why you're in the situation you're in right now. Okay? I figured you totally out. So stop acting like you so smart and so cool. I done figured out your whole function. And guess what? Guess what we gonna do? Ask me what we gonna do about it. Like a little dumb teenager with this level of sarcasm of a teenager. What you gonna do about it? Well, what you gonna do about it? Oh, do you really want to know? I don't think you want to know what we're gonna do about it. I don't think you really want to know. The full entirety, I don't think you can stomach and digest what we're gonna do about it. You see where we at, buddy? You thought I was some little lost orphan thug, didn't you? That just hollering out at the police, and I'll just and all you got to do is just get him off the street, get the funky thug off the street, let the police haul him in, you know, that kind of thing. The police will take care of him and haul him off like they haul off the rest of these old thugs and felons. See, you thought that was the case, didn't you? How you feel about that now? You feel like I'm some average criminal that can be hauled off by the police and that's the end of it? You don't feel that way, do you? I have used the spiritual offering to put money on the heads of these Freemasons and these other secret societies that's involved, and the police and the Americans. I just sent money to Mexico, right? And to the people in Mexico that I just sent the money to, Dios de la Bandinga. Dios de la Bandinga. I just sent money to Mexico. Okay? So, what we're going to do is continue to put this money on their heads until it's all over. Okay? We put money on their heads. We just want to keep talking about this. I just want you to keep thinking about this. We put money on their heads. And that means the police. That means everybody yapping and talking. Every person will be affected. And see, this is the difference between the streets and God's kingdom. We're going to get every person. You don't believe it, do you? We're going to get every person. That means every little bum I don't care if they broke, so what? If that's the other reason. Like I told you. Whatever the excuse they got, that should have kept them out the way, right? See, that's how you get rid of all the excuses. Being pacified by all the excuses. How you figure it out is if this, listen to the excuse they got. More times than not, that excuse should have kept them out the way. Well, if you was broke and now you want to insinuate that you just a poor broke person, then why they ain't keep you out the way? If you so broke, then why you playing with a prophet? Why you playing with God's people? If you a broke poor man, then why you here? So from now on, what we do is when they insinuate any excuse, we use that excuse as a platform that should have pushed them out the way. No matter what you say, you're a good person. Well, hey, you should have been out the way if you're a good person. Listen, that's how you beat them right there. Because whatever their excuse is, Oh, we didn't know. Well, then you shouldn't have been in the way. You shouldn't have been out here. If you ain't know what was going on, why you out here? Well, we didn't know what really happened. Then why would you be out here if you didn't know what really happened? Hold up. If you didn't really know what was going on or what happened, then why would you be out here playing with a human being? Why would you be out here then? Well, we didn't really know, you know what I'm saying? Well, then you shouldn't have done nothing if you didn't really know yet. If you didn't really know yet, you shouldn't have knew till you did something, till you know. You shouldn't have did nothing till you knew. I wouldn't have made no moves if I knew nothing like you do. I told you I'm a master, man. Listen, I'm a master. Your voice means nothing. Your voice means nothing. It doesn't qualify your rank. It don't mean you are nothing. It don't mean you beat me or know nothing about this situation. If you a normal, upstanding citizen, you should have stayed out the way. If you got a family, whatever excuse you're gonna try to use to get out of this, if you got a family, then you should have stayed out the way. If you a mother or a father and you got 2 or 3 kids, you shouldn't have been out here. So for a smart man, the reasons that you talking about, that should have kept you out of the way. Bottom line, that should have kept you out of here. And ain't no talking gonna stop it. Ain't none of that's low level. That's 1-on-1, buddy. That's Malcolm X. Get out my pocket. Get out my pocket. Listen, bro. You can't assassinate me, buddy. We can assassinate you. Okay? Listen. Any excuse that you using should have kept you out of this situation. And that's how we looking at it. So for anything they talk about, this is all I want you to do. I want you to point this tails on them. The excuse or whatever they say is what's telling you why they shouldn't have been out here. Hold on, you got to be smart now. The thing that they telling you as to insinuate an excuse, that's why they shouldn't have been here. This is why they shouldn't have been here. Well, we didn't anything they talking about. Well, we heard this. Well, you gonna come out here for you gonna come out here for hearsay? What niggas done said to you? You gonna come out here to what niggas done said? See, the truth is, the reason why we can't reason properly in this situation is because they are niggers. Okay? They are part of the whole hip-hop culture. They're niggas. They think they rappers and gangsters and thugs, and they niggas. That's why. That's why you can't figure it out. Why they would come all the way out here? Because they thought they were being bad and tough and pulling up on somebody. That's what they thought they were doing. Until pull-up came into the room. Now pull-up is in the room. And all you can do is stuff behind closed doors like little coward niggas. Oh, we know you wouldn't be able to do none of that to my face. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Come on, we know that. We know that, bro. We know that. So now you find someone who is just as smart as you. I'm smarter than you, actually. I've called you on everything you're doing. Even the little yapping behind the door. You know, some people would think that's just talking. They wouldn't figure out that that's intentional. So I'm smart enough to know that's intentional. You have no valid excuse. Now, even when it comes to psychology, that's not no valid excuse. Oh, we seen something on his mind. That's what that ain't a valid excuse to be out here. We don't care. I don't care what you seen on my mind, sucker. No, let's come back to the real world. Do you care what's on somebody's mind? You care what's on the next man's mind walking down the street? Do you care what's on his mind? Notice how you figure it out. If you seen a complete stranger walking down the street, are you going to stand back and say, I wonder what's on his mind? And whatever it is, it's important of how I form my opinion of what I'll do and won't do to this person. I'll just look at this person, and if something's bad on his mind, you see how corny this is, right? If something is bad on his mind, I think I'm gonna attack this dude. If something is, you see how psycho that is? That's how bugged out that is. If I think that something's on his mind, I'm just gonna attack him. I'm just gonna punch him in the face if I think he got something on his mind. I think I'm gonna hurt this person. Is that logical reasoning? Is that enough evidence? Do he know really what's on somebody's mind? So you know what I learned? Even if you're a mind reader, that doesn't give you a 180 point IQ, right? That doesn't mean you're Einstein. See, a dumb nigga think because he got manipulated by the satanic kingdom, where the dimensions in your mind and spirit is open because of satanic energy. That's why it is. That's why you like that. Right. Okay. That doesn't mean you automatically level up to a 180 IQ, buddy. So here's the punchline. If you read somebody's mind that's smarter than you, you ain't gonna know what it means. Oh, I just beat them at their own game. You mind read, don't you? You're a mind reading little nigga, ain't you? Okay, so for mind reading little niggas, if I'm smarter than you, then you can't properly form what you see on my mind. You can't define it, can you? Because you a dumb little nigga. So even if you can read minds, you still a dumb little nigga after all. I'm telling you how you need to hear it. I'm gonna tell you how you need to hear it. You still a dumb little nigga, didn't know what you was reading on my mind. Can you explain what you're seeing on my mind? I can explain it. Can you explain it, dumb nigga? Can you explain it? You can't, can you? So then who are you to define it if you can't explain it? You can't explain it. You know why you can't explain it? Because you have a low IQ. That's why. Although you might be able to read minds, you didn't consider, it doesn't give you a high IQ. No, it doesn't. The doors of your mind is just open and you can't close it. It's satanic. It's a curse. Don't you feel like it's a curse? You read minds, but look, all that is the doors of your mind and your spirit is open. The devil did it to you. It's not a God-given gift. Satan twists gifts. He twisted the gifts that was in you into where you read minds. How we know? God wouldn't give the ability for people to read minds if they were not perfect, because you're just as dirty as the next person. So why would he give you an authority when you're just as filthy and dirty because you're a human being? How will he give you authority over someone else's mind when you're just as filthy and dirty, proven by history, whether you're black people, Americans, or whatever? I can prove it with history how you don't deserve to read anybody's mind because you're not clean enough yourself. That's how it works. If God did it, if God gave it to you, you would have to be perfect. Not like us. You couldn't be like us, because that would be hypocrisy, right? So you would have to be above us for God to give you valid way to read our minds. That's how we know Satan did it, because it's invading. You see how invading that is? That's how you know it's Satan. I'm just saying, for people that might think they got a gift from God. No, buddy. Your gifts were twisted by Satan. Now, who you were before that, I may never know. But whatever gifts you had when you were young, Satan sent demonic spirits to you to open up your mind and your soul. And you think you're enlightened, and you're not. Your soul is open and mind is open. It's almost like spiritual disability. You didn't look at it that way, did you? It don't function properly, buddy. That's not a function. That's not a healthy function. So if it's not a healthy function, what is it? It's a disability. It's a disability. It's a disabilitar, buddy. You got a disabilitar, buddy. You're a spiritual cripple. You didn't look at it that way, did you? See, I'm pretty sure people like you get put on medication and it still don't make it better. I guarantee you people like you wind up on medication. None of you do that read minds. I'm pretty sure your type wind up getting classified as schizophrenic paranoid or schizophrenic because of voices. You get labeled as schizophrenic paranoid. But you know what really happened to you? I'm going to tell you what really happened. Do you want to know what happened to you? Spirits opened up your mind and your soul like doors. And it's like a door, cold wind flowing into a door into a house and just everything blowing in. And you can't close it. That's what your head is like. That's what your soul is like. And God did not give it to you. The devil did that to you. Basically, he crippled you spiritually. And he told you it was a gift. I crippled you, but it's a gift. There you go. Sound just like the devil. Hey, I crippled you, but hey, you're gifted now. You're a special little guy. You're a special little guy. I crippled you, but you're a special little guy. You're a special little gal. If you're a woman, you're a special little gal. You're a special little gal. Hey man, let me tell you something. God, why would God give you the ability to invade somebody else's mind? Think about that. Look how invading that is of your privacy. Why would God give you anything? God would give is good. Every gift that comes from God is perfect, as the Bible says. God does not give out no twisted gifts where people don't understand what it, and they don't like it. Where it's offensive to people. No, not for any other reason. Because the truth is, God is the judge, not you. So why would he give you, if he the real supreme judge, why would he give you the ability to judge? He can do it himself. You didn't look at it that way, did you? He's doing it himself. He doesn't need you to judge anything, buddy. Boom. See, if you understood that, you wouldn't be going around trying to judge people. You know what you'll be doing? You'll be working out your own salvation with fear and trembling. I work out my own salvation before I even care about what anybody else is doing. In other words, I get myself together first. Okay? Get your country together first, where they not marrying children. Okay, they was marrying up to 45 states. 45 states, you can go back and look at one time, it was like 45 states. That's almost a whole country. It was 45 states. They had to try to bring it down because I was killing it, man. But nobody wasn't paying attention when I was killing it. It was 45 states and y'all wasn't even paying attention. That's why I despise you. You was out here talking about whatever you was talking about. But yet you had 45 states at one time. It was 5 states away from the whole country marrying children. And nobody wasn't paying attention. See, that's why people don't see me as a villain like they see you. Because see, I got stuff that I can show people that I'm a hero. What's your part that you're a hero? Oh, random stuff like the cops, doing random stuff, helping people. That's not enough anymore. Your little police cop portfolio is not enough anymore. Well, we done this over here on 4th Avenue. We helped this child get a cat out the tree. We have the little girl get a cat out the tree. We have the little girl get a cat out the tree. You have the little girl get a cat out the tree. That's what you're doing these days. That's what you're doing these days in the blizzard. In the blizzard, you out there helping the girl get the cat out the tree. In the blizzard. Help a little girl get a cat out the tree in the blizzard. Come on, man, stop playing, bro. Let me tell you something. I did more than the cops could ever do. I exposed America for marrying children. Show me a cop that got that kind of portfolio. That's 7 hour. Oh, I don't care what you done. Beat that, buddy. Oh, do you think it's some work that a cop can do that's better than that? As far as the well-being for children. Well, you didn't even know your country was marrying children. I changed the whole infrastructure, the whole moral infrastructure of your country. I showed you the real immoral infrastructure of your country. The cops didn't do that. So the cops out here doing random stuff and doing things randomly. I mean, that's all the cop does is random, right? He's just a random person. Hey, he's just a random guy, isn't he? Hey, the cop is random, ain't he? He get random calls. Random crimes, random guy. Random crimes, random guy. You're just a random old guy, aren't you? You're just a random old guy, aren't you? You look like a random old, you act like a random old guy too. Let me tell you something, buddy. I am extraordinary. I am phenomenal. You're incompetent. Your country didn't even know that y'all was marrying children. But you're competent. How are you competent when you didn't know your country was marrying children? You're right here. You got the internet. You got the internet. Show me a valid excuse when you got the internet. You got the internet, don't you? That's for the retards, the internet. You got the internet, don't you? You got the internet, don't you? I mean, even for the retards, it's on there. You got the internet, don't you? You got the internet. Why you didn't know y'all was marrying children and you got 10 years of the internet? I'll wait. What's the excuse? YouTube kept you from doing it. Facebook kept you from doing it. Well, they did. You know how they beat you? All they kept using was social media to distract you. That's a 7 hour. Well, eventually, if you were just left to your own devices with the internet, you would have been just finding out random things for entertainment. But instead of that as a form of entertainment, you was on social media, on the internet. You was on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and YouTube. You was on YouTube eating hot dogs, watching YouTube. You were eating all mustard hot dogs with nothing but mustard on it, watching YouTube. Well, I want 3 mustard hot dogs and I'll watch YouTube eating my 3 mustard hot dogs. Oh, man. I crack myself up, buddy. You got to do it for yourself, man. I crack myself up. 10 years of the internet. 10 years of the internet. 20 years plus of the internet. And you don't know about child marriage laws in America? It's no excuse, buddy. It's no excuse. I can see if you had to go down to the library and get these old dusty books of laws and check it out and then do your own research. But you didn't have to do that, did you? You had it right there at your hand, a whole world of information, an encyclopedia, any kind of information from all the encyclopedias combined. See, the Americans are the most disgusting example of wasting the internet information highway. You know what you did? Just like a dumb American would do. You spent most of your time on Facebook. This is how they got you. This is why you ain't know nothing about child marriage laws, even though you had all the encyclopedias right there at your hands. You know why you didn't know about it? Because of all the satanic scarecrows that they made to scare you away from information. For you researching information. Well, how am I going to stop all these people researching information where everything is right there? Oh, I know. I'll create these social media platforms where everybody will be social, like little dinky airheads and dumb blondes, just putting likes here, and I put a like there, and I like her mustard hot dog. I like the post of her mustard hot dog. I'll comment and say, maybe next time you put a little chili on there. Maybe next time you'll put a little chili on there. You'll leave a comment. Maybe next time you should put a little chili on there. Little Cheetos on the side. I like little Cheetos with mine. Little Ruffles. I like some little Ruffles. Why you didn't know? The prophet sat back and you never even knew. You had the internet right there in your pocket. Right there in your pocket. Get out of my pocket, get out. You had the internet right in your pocket, didn't you? Your phone. You had the internet right in your pocket, didn't you? You had all this information right in your pocket, didn't you? Get out of my pocket. Get out of my pocket. Get out of my pocket. Hey, man, let me tell you something, man. You are pathetic. You're incompetent. You thought it was me. You know why you thought it was me? Because you didn't see me doing what all these other Americans do. That's why you so easily thought I was incompetent, because I wasn't doing what they were doing. But do you see my level of intellect? Well, some people would say if I was crazy, they'd rather be me than you. Well, you a dumb, dinky blonde. You a dumb, dinky, non-blonde, but didn't know your country was marrying children. You got all these degrees and didn't know your country was marrying children. So who would you rather be? The prophet that is esteemed as crazy, or these dumb, dinky Americans that didn't even know their country was marrying children and they had the internet right there to see it? Right there, the whole time you could have did it. You could have made an internet Google search even back in 2004. The internet was still there. You could have did it then. And as the phones got better and better, you done had how many phones in your life? You done at least had about 10 phones, ain't you? You had about 10 phones at least, ain't you? You done had about 20 phones actually. Actual, you done had about 20 phones, ain't you? About 15 phones, ain't you? You done had about 15 phones, ain't you? And not one Google search for child marriage laws in the United States of America. But you looked up big booty, didn't you? Big penis for women. You looked up big penis. Penis with girth. You looked up penis with girth, didn't you? You looked up fat penis, didn't you? Pretty sure you did. You looked up big nipples for men. You looked up big nipples, didn't you? You looked up big nipples, didn't you? Big areolas and big nipples. You looked up big areolas, didn't you? But not once did you look up child marriage laws in the United States of America. But here you are, trying to see me. That's exactly how you need to hear it. Now you see how I see it. You are you're the dumbest community I've ever seen in my life. You are a dumb community. You had the internet right there the whole time. It's no excuse. All them nights when you was bored and drunk, you could have easily looked up any random thing. In fact, you didn't never even think to do that, did you? All them random nights when you was drunk, you didn't even look up nothing weird, did you? Well, let me look up child marriage laws. You didn't even do a weird Google search in your life. What's the weirdest Google search you did? Area 51 and aliens and what's the weirdest Google search you ever did in your life? That's how we know you're dumb. What's the weirdest Google search you did? No, listen. That should make you feel like a retarded person. You just got a phone the whole time and you never... What's the weirdest Google search you did? What's the weirdest Google search? Looking for information and just looking for things out there. And not aliens, not UFO. What's the weirdest thing you looked up? They got you. They knew when they released the internet, they had to have intellectual scarecrows to keep you away from just randomly Googling information like smart people do. Anytime anything comes to my mind, I Google it. What's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? I do it all the time. AI even made it better. AI just pull up everything. If AI isn't good for anything else, it's good for researching for smart people, not nerds. A nerd is a person that sticks on one subject and they obsess over one subject. I don't obsess over one subject. I'm just a smart person. I know you're an American. You don't know the difference between a smart person and a nerd. A nerd has a hobby or an obsession with one subject. Okay? That's what you'll find. A smart person can look just like you and cool is just like you. See, that's what you thought. You looked at me and you sized me up. You thought I was a dummy, didn't you? You thought I was a dumbard, didn't you? You thought I was dumbard, didn't you? How you feel now? Your country marries children, man. America marries children. That's what I want that to sink in. You don't want it to sink in, do you? Let that sink in, buddy. Yeah, like they say on the internet, let that sink in. Let that sink or. Let that sink behind your ears. Right there behind your ears. Let that sink in behind your ears right there. That little bone behind your ears, let it sink in right there. Let it sink all the way in back there with that little bone there behind your ear. That little bone behind your ear, let it sink in about down there. Your country will sit up and watch me, but they ain't got rid of the child marriage, have they? Even right now, listen, I'm living my best life now. You know how? Well, I'm sitting back while you still have active child marriage laws. But you're investigating people for being pedophiles. But you still have active. Like somebody can do it right now today. If they meet the qualifications and the requirements, they can go take a child down to the courthouse today. They can marry a child today. Right now. I'm living my best life right now, buddy. I'm living my best life right now. I'm living my best life right now. Yeah. And guess what? I've informed a lot of people about you marrying those children. It's been me over and over again. I've informed many Americans, dumb just like you. And they didn't know you was marrying children this whole time. Because most Americans are just glad to get out of high school, aren't you? I'm glad I'm done with that. I want me 2 mustard hot dogs ready for me when I get my last class done. Mama put me on 2 mustard hot dogs. Just put them in the pot, boil them in the pot, put them in the pot, boil them in the pot. I'll just take them out when I get in the house. Give me 2 mustard hot dogs. Mommy. 2 mustard hot dogs. You want 2 mustard hot dogs, only mustard. You learn from the white Americans. I like all mustard hot dogs like the white Americans. I started eating mustard hot dogs when I started hanging out with Cindy. Cindy like all mustard white hot dogs. She like them turkey hot dogs. Them pale looking turkey hot dog. Hey man, listen. Let me tell you something. You know you're playing yourself, don't you? Well, yeah. That's what we call it here. You know what we call that here? You know what we call that here, buddy? Hey, you know it's real when I'm laughing at you. You know what we call that here? With all your talking and all of that outside there, man, that don't mean nothing to me, man. That's for retarded people. You know what we call this here? Playing yourself. You playing yourself. You're not playing me. You know the difference between playing me and playing yourself? That's a New York saying. New York know all about that, don't they? Playing yourself, you understand that term, don't you? When you play yourself. Go out on the streets of New York. Yeah, I just want to know what it means to play yourself. Do you know what play yourself means? Yeah, well, when you play yourself, you wind up being the one that's at fault. You wind up losing. You wind up taking the L's. You wind up not getting the long end. You wind up getting the short end of the stick. You wind up getting the short end of the stick. It's when you lose, you didn't plan to lose. You set out for something else to happen, but you wind up losing yourself. You wind up losing yourself. That's when you played yourself. You wind up losing yourself, buddy. You wind up holding the L's, don't you? That's how you know you played yourself. Because you're holding L's, right? Look down. Look down. See all the L's you're holding? You holding them like long lost children, ain't you? Look, they cradling. You cradling L's, ain't you? You cradling L's in your hand like a little baby, ain't you? You holding it delicate like a little baby, ain't you? You holding the little L's, ain't you? Here, come here. Let me burp you. Pat you on the back. Oh, there you go. You got a little burp out. You burping your L's. You burping your L's, ain't you? You burping them new L's, ain't you? You burping them new L's, ain't you? We're going to put them down in a little bassinet. Put your L's down in the bassinet. You got your L's in the bassinet, don't you? You got L's in bassinets, don't you? You got L's and bassinets, don't you? Got a little nice little hood over the bassinet. You got the little hoods over. You got a bassinet with hoods over it, don't you? Which for your L's, don't you? You got hoods over the bassinets, don't you? You got hoods over them bassinets. You got nice little hoods, silk hoods over your bassinets, don't you? Listen, man, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. You asked for this. You asked for this. You asked for beef, didn't you? You asked for problems, didn't you? You asked for problems, didn't you? You got it then, buddy, don't you? You got it. You got it. Thumbs up, you got it. Listen, buddy, let me tell you something. I just sent money to Mexico, in the worst city in Mexico, the most deadly city right now, where a dude just got killed, where a cartel leader got killed. I just sent money there yesterday. Okay? I just sent money to Mexico. And just like I said before, Dios de la Bandiga, to the church that I just sent the money to. Dios de la Bandiga. So, you need to understand real quick. You need to understand real good that it's an official brand new day that's on the horizon. Where now we're putting money on people's head by putting spiritual offerings in God's kingdom. It's radical. We radical. You remember Christians back in the day, they would say they radical. We radical. Well, we radical for real, buddy. Guess what I'm doing? Guess what, buddy? We putting money on the heads of all these people. Now, we wait. I just sent the money yesterday. Now we wait. I prove with the Bible, not with American Christian perspective. I proved that you can take an offering and use it against physical enemies. In other words, I proved with the Bible that you can get an offering and bring an offering before God with the sole purpose, not other multiple purposes, with the sole purpose of God, for God, with the sole purpose of God destroying physical enemies. So, what that would mean, and it does mean this, is that I can show you a scripture that shows a servant of God giving an offering for the sole purpose of God destroying physical human beings. I can show you that with the Bible. I can show you a servant giving an offering to God with the sole purpose of destroying human beings. Giving an offering with the sole purpose of destroying human beings. See, all you gotta have is a word on it. You know how they used to say that back in the day? All you gotta have is a word on it. Well, I got a word on it. Yeah, I got a word on it, buddy. I got a word on it. All you gotta have is a word on it, buddy. 1 Samuel, the 17th chapter, the 7th through the 10th verses. Read that. 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel, the 7th chapter, the 7th through the 10th verses. Read that. Where God responded to Samuel's offering with destroying the Philistines. Not because he did a prayer, not because they was in prayer 2 days ago, before that happened, as a result of the offering. So you see the epiphany that I got, right? The epiphany from 1 Samuel, the 7th chapter, the 7th through the 10th verses, that if I give an offering with the sole purpose of God going to war with my enemies, I will destroy my physical enemies. See, the true Christians, not the religious people, have realized that now we are in a season where we have to go to war with physical people. Now, where it gets tricky for the non-denominational religious person in 2026, we go to war with physical human beings, but we use spiritual weapons. Because the first thing you're going to say, but we don't fight against flesh and blood. But then there's wars in the Bible. Explain the wars in the Bible then. No, you're smart. Go ahead with your bad self. Oh, your good self. You're a Christian. Go ahead with your good self. Go ahead with your good self. Go ahead with your good self. Okay, so explain all the wars in the Bible. That's all I want you to do. Because I'm an educated, intelligent man, and ain't no way in the world I'm going to see wars, real wars in the Bible, and you're going to tell me we don't fight against human beings in no situation, in no circumstances. See, times change. Wars are times and seasons, right? Okay, wars don't usually last forever, right? Okay, so even with that being said, a smart person going to realize, well, okay, we don't do this all the time. You know, we don't do this all the time now. But right now we got to do it. So we realize, okay, sometimes we might have to go to war with human beings. It ain't going to be all good all the time. That's what the Bible shows us. It ain't all good all the time in the Bible. Sometimes God's people had to go to war with human beings, right or wrong. Boom. It came at a certain time, right? That certain time has come to you. The Bible says it's a time to go to war, and it's a time to war. It's the time to go to war, and it's a time of peace. And I'm paraphrasing, but you see it right there. It says that. So what the war is then, when it says it's time to go to war? See, there you go right there. That's 7 hours. What the war is, let's go to that. Let's go there. Let's read that. Let's read that. Because I want you to explain intelligently another interpretation other than what I'm seeing. Because what I'm seeing is, it says it's a time to go to war, right? Okay, so then that's against human beings. It's not saying it's a time to go to war with spirits, because it's all, a war with spirits is 24/7. 365 days of a year, 52 weeks of a year, 365 days of a year. We at war with demonic spirits 52 weeks of a year. Okay? So right here, Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. I'm just going to go to the 8th verse and get right down to it. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. Okay, so like I said, we go to war with spirits at all times, so it's always a time to go to war with demonic spirits. You understand that, right? So it ain't never no time. You always going to war with demonic spirits. Safe to say that's kind of how it is. It might not be today, but it might be tomorrow. It ain't enough time off for you to say we don't go to war with them basically 24/7 all the time. It's not enough. In other words, it's not enough time off from fighting demonic spirits for you to say we don't fight spirits all the time. It ain't enough time off for you to say that, right? You fight them all the time, right? Right. So when it says it's a time of war, then that couldn't be talking about demonic spirits, because it's always a time of war for them. On the average person, right? Especially now. But we definitely can say, using our discernment, this is not talking about a time of war for demons, is it? It's not talking about a time of war against demons, is it? At face value, with the real interpretation in the Hebrew and the Greek, the real interpretation in the Hebrew and the Greek, it's going to be the word war. It's going to be for physical wars, isn't it? That's it right there. That's 7 hours. It's going to be, I guarantee you, in the Hebrew and the Greek, Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, the 8th verse, when you look it up in the concordance in the Hebrew and the Greek, it's going to be the interpretation for war that defines war as in physical combat, isn't it? You can agree on that, can't you? It's not going to talk about physical wars with demonic spirits. It's not going to be talking about war with demonic spirits, is it? So right here, if you take the scripture that says we do not wrestle, we do not fight against, well, this is your interpretation, formal interpretation. We don't fight against flesh and blood. Okay, then explain in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, where it says it's a time of war. It's a time of war. Or are you one of those Christians that just read the New Testament? A time of war. What does that mean to you? It's a time for spiritual war. Spiritual war never stops. So it couldn't be referring to time on and time off for spiritual war. It's not time off and time on for spiritual war, right? Safe to say. Okay, so then in wisdom, that wouldn't be put in that situation, would it? In the context of spiritual war, knowing spiritual war goes on at all times. This is, if you look up all of the 3rd chapter, starting down to the 8th verse, is referring to humans' interaction with the tangible world. Everything else applies to the tangible. A time to be born, that's applying to the tangible. A time to die, that's the tangible world. A time to plant, that's tangible. And a time to pull out what was planted, tangible. A time to kill, a time to heal, that's the tangible world. A time to tear down and a time to build up. A time to cry and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones. Stones is in the real world, ain't it? And a time to gather them. A time to hug and a time to stop hugging. That's hugging people, right? That's the all earthly tangible things. A time to start looking, a time to stop looking. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear apart and a time to sew together. A time to keep quiet and a time to speak out. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. Those are all things, all pertaining to the physical, tangible world in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. So when it's referring to war, that would obviously be, with everything else being in the tangible world, that war pertains to tangible wars in the physical world. It's physical war that it's pertaining to, or referring to, or referencing to. Okay? So we're not on La La World on cloud 9. See, I have to go through this because the American church has taught people we don't fight against human beings at all. It'll never happen. It's an extreme when anybody can use their free will to fight you. That's the first thing that should stop you from being brainwashed by wrong interpretations of the Bible. Is, okay, somebody could just use their free will to fight me for no reason. Then what? What am I supposed to do? If this man over here uses his free will to do whatever he want to do. I have to go to war about that. See what I'm saying? See, that's how you know, man. Listen, that's how you know who's who. You got people that do not know what they talking about. Talking about we don't fight against flesh and blood, and it's a million wars in the Bible. Make it make sense, bro. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, R. Make it make sense, R, bro. You got a million battles in the Bible talking about we don't fight against human beings. You should have knew a young generation ain't gonna be religious. I'm not religious. I use common sense when I read the Bible. The older people did not. A lot of people didn't. They let people come in and interpret the scriptures for them. And I'm thinking, no. I come from an information generation. I'm use common sense to see realistic historical battles in the Bible. And then when you tell me we don't fight against human beings, I'm gonna say, well, explain all these wars in the Bible then. It was just a matter of time for my generation that's intelligent, from this generation, from my generation, to read the Bible properly without folklore and cliche interpretations of the Bible. If you got all these wars in the Bible, how you gonna say we don't fight against human beings? That's what a young person gonna tell you. That's what a young man gonna tell you. How you gonna tell me we don't fight against human beings, but it's all these wars in the Bible? So then we do. We do. Okay? And it just sounds good to say you don't. But you do. And I just broke it down to you. You know what I'm saying? See how I look at it is God is everything I need, man. It ain't gonna be no situation where God don't understand. It ain't gonna be no situation where people can play in your face and God ain't got the answers. Okay? You gotta relearn and re-educate yourself and realize you've been miseducated. You wasn't educated right. So because God gonna give you all the answers to everything you need, that's how you gonna figure it out. That's gonna be the canvas that you paint all your faith on. God gonna give you everything you need. So I became like a spiritual warfare Basquiat. The painter, Basquiat, that was here in New York. People didn't know what I was painting and what I was doing. And Basquiat had like a humble life. You know what I'm saying? And so I paint these pictures. I bring these things together like a spiritual warfare Basquiat. Okay? This is what I'm doing. And it's working. And people respect my art of war and spiritual warfare. That's 7 hours. They respect my Basquiat spiritual warfare art of war, where I'm going to take an offering based on the Bible. When servants of old took an offering and brought it before God for physical enemies. See, the ones that you think is stupid is the brilliant ones. The ones that you think retarded, that be the brilliant people. The people you think crazy, oh, that's the brilliant. I've been called brilliant by a Jamaican man. Don't you know you're brilliant? They can't stand it, can they? I had a Jamaican man call me, don't you know you're brilliant? You know how long ago that was? When he said that, when the Jamaican man said that about me, come on, man, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. You are not getting out of this situation for free. I'm telling you right now. You listen, you haven't even begun to see the beginning of all of this. This ain't the beginning. Oh, you thought it was the end of what we about to do? I just sent money to Mexico just yesterday. That just hit yesterday. That's the first time I sent money to Mexico. Oh yeah, I'm black and I know how to pronounce the real pronunciation for Mexico. Mexico. You thought I was an idiot, didn't you? Listen, you played yourself. That's all. Listen, you played yourself. That's it. You think I'm just saying it to be cute? You played yourself, bro. Literally, bro. I'm the type they find out, oh man, I would like to hang out with that guy. Can you imagine how if he's that funny, can you imagine how he is with a couple drinks in him? We probably would die from laughter. And people took me for granted. They took me for granted, man. They took me for granted. I come up with food. I go buy Hennessy. I be buying Hennessy, drinking pizza, buy Papa John's pizza and Hennessy. People took me for granted, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking around drinking Hennessy out the bottle. You know what I'm saying, bro? Listen, I was one of them dudes, man. And right here in New York, buying pizza, you know what I'm saying? Hennessy out the bottle. You know what I mean? I'm going to Papa John's getting the cheesesteaks, the pizza, everything. I'm with people that take it for granted, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm buying Hennessy. They don't even want to drink. You know what I'm saying? They say, that's what I'm saying, man. People got demonic spirits, bro. And then they say, you the one with the hang up. You the one that ain't no fun. I can show you multiple times, man, when people say, yo, this dude is all the fun he needs to be. Because they seen everything I was doing. They see me walking around on Henny, just chilling, not crazy, stripping off my clothes and going crazy. I'm walking around carrying pizza while I got Henny. Carrying pizza down the street, drinking Henny, man, out the bottle. You know, like, listen, man, let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something. You the one that got the problem, bro. You don't like to have fun. And if it was fun, you would be the type that would cause a problem. That's how I see you. For secret society, people like you. If we drinking, you know, you on clown time, right? You know what I mean? Because you a hater, you know what I'm saying? That's the truth, bro. You a hater, you know? And that's the truth. I ain't never been a hater in my life, you know what I'm saying? I always been cool on every stage of life. I could be broke, I could be on the streets, and I still turn up. I still go get a fifth. You know what I'm saying? Go drink a fifth to the head. You know what I mean? Like, yo, let me tell you something. Bro. I got too many people that can vouch for what I do, man. How hard I chill, bro. For you to act like I'm problematic. See, in this situation, now you line me up as problematic, but then other people see me out there on Henny. Oh yeah, I remember you was walking the block drinking Hennessy one time. Them kind of story, yeah. I don't know about the other time, but I seen him with some Hennessy. Yeah, I seen him walking down the street drinking Hennessy, chilling, getting pizza, drinking Hennessy. I seen him with a fifth one time. I seen him with a liter one time. Some people say, oh yeah, but one time I seen him with a liter. He had a whole liter of vodka. In the daytime, walking down the street with a cup, with a liter. Like, broad daylight with no bag on the bottle. Just walking down, no bag on the bottle. Like, you know what I'm saying, man? So, you know, and no mishaps or nothing, man. Had my own apartment. That was the beautiful thing. Through my own apartment, I never had any times where I had to be rushed to the hospital from drinking. That's what I can honestly say. I'm proud of myself for that because many times I had situations where, you know, I black out, you know what I'm saying, for drinking or whatever. But living in my own apartment, I didn't have any situations where I needed to be rushed to the hospital for drinking, over drinking, you know. So you know, man. So it's clowns and player haters. That's what I want y'all to see, bro. If you ain't hear what I just said, you know what I'm saying? I'm on Hennessy. At times, I've been on Hennessy in Queens, man. People still want problems. You know what I'm saying? They see, yo, the dude chilling, he laid back. When I was smoking, I used to hand out cigarettes to the poor. I used to pour liquor to the poor. You know what I'm saying? Dudes be on the streets. They have a cup. I give me a cup. You got a cup? If I got the bottle, I'm gonna hit. Yo, you got a bottle? I'm that type of dude. More than one time I done it. Just my lifestyle. Hand out change. If I got some change, I always hit people off with the change I got. Cigarettes, that's how I walk down the street. Handing out cigarettes, liquor, and change and money. You need a couple, you ask me for $1, I'll come, all right, I got you when I come back. Boom. Ain't even looking for it. That type of person. So, people see me as that consistently in the natural form of the jungle as it is, as I move and navigate through the jungle. It's just these suckers that post up and play games and psychological games that got all the talk about the situation. But when you talk to the streets, what they say? Oh yeah, he poured me up like give me cigarettes here and there, anything, anything he got, he could give, he gives. You know what I'm saying? Yo. You know what I'm saying? So man, so that tell you, man, I'm not the one with the problem here. You see what I'm saying? And so when you find a person that's kind of mental like that, and I don't care how they look, because you know what I learned? I don't think even all these cops is in their right mind, which means to me, I don't think all these cops are mentally sound. I think some of them bipolar. I think some of them suffer from schizophrenic paranoid, or it might not be that bad, but it might be bipolar. You know what I mean? They might be bipolar. Oh yeah, man, come on, man. You think none of them cops is bipolar? None of them? You crazy. You know how common bipolarism is? See, a lot of people, especially black people, they don't know no signs of it because we so used to bipolar people. Hey, black people, we so used to bipolar people, we don't even know, man. We don't even know what to look for. Oh yeah, and then half these so-called gangsters, half of them are bipolar. The only reason they like that is because they bipolar. The real gangsters ain't going to jail. I ain't going to jail. These bipolar so-called criminals, they going to jail. Because that's what they got. They got behavioral problems and mood swings and stuff. I'm going to just take care of my business. But I ain't bipolar. And see, that's what people sleep on you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't bipolar. You expect all the behavioral problems and all these mommy problems and daddy problems that a lot of these black people deal with. So-called street dudes, and they got all these rage problems. I don't got no rage problems. I don't got no bipolar problems. I just carry weapons. I take care of my business. And see, for some people, they're so used to seeing street people that's bipolar, clinically would be clinically diagnosed as bipolar, that by the time they see real thugs and gangsters and criminals, they think them people soft. Because you done seen all these bipolar people. They got mommy issues or daddy issues or enablement issues, can't work issues, LD, learner's disability issues. That when you find someone that catch a body, but he in his right mind, he's smart, and you don't even believe in that. You don't see. So in other words, you're used to seeing toxic, dysfunctional gangsters than healthy ones. The ones that don't go to jail. The ones that do crimes and don't go to jail because they just too smart to go to jail. It's not that hard if you just apply yourself. If you just apply yourself. If you just apply yourself. You ain't got to go to jail. A lot of stuff I did, I ain't never go to jail for. I can tell you felonies I did not go to jail. Because I'm not a stupid person. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of dudes is bipolar. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They ain't even out there because they hard. You out there because you are sick. You out there in the streets because you sick. Boy, that's too much truth, ain't it? No, hold up. They out in the streets because they sick. It was never street life for them. It was never street life. It's only street life for healthy people. To me, I'm dealing with a sick person in the streets. I can deal with it. But is it bona fide street life? That's tricky. Because if you bipolar, man, I think you out there because you're sick. You're literally out there in the rain, smoking weed in a car, halfway wet because you're sick. No pun intended. You out there in the streets doing whatever you're doing because you're mental, man. Your mental health pulled you out there. So when you talk gangsters to me, it's depending on what you talk about. If you're talking about them bipolar criminals, okay, that ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody that can get money and get out the game. I'm talking about somebody who trying to hit it and quit it, like James Brown. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about somebody that they bipolar and they brag about all the stuff they done back in '92 for 20 years. Them type of dudes that think they installing fear in somebody, talking about stuff you did back in '94. You know what I mean? You know exactly the type I'm talking about, bro. That ain't me. That ain't me, bro. That's not me at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm a normal person. My son is 19. I got a grown son. See, you start demanding respect when your son is grown. When your children grown, I ain't taking nothing off nobody. No, sir. I got a grown son in the world, buddy. Me and you gonna fight till somebody die. You start getting dignity. Your dignity and respect is not one and the same. You know what I'm saying? Dignity is a very deep subject. And you don't let nobody take your dignity. Okay? You don't let no one take your dignity. Your self-respect. How you carry yourself and how you navigate. And somebody got you around here navigating like you a piece of trash. You don't let no one play with your dignity. Even if you got to be alone. Even if you got to pull back off of people. Even if you got to pull back off of black people. You don't let nobody play with your dignity. Respect and dignity is not one and the same. Your dignity basically is dealing with your self-respect for yourself. And what it takes to keep your self-respect. Things you do and won't do to keep your self-respect, your dignity. You see what I'm saying? And when people play with you, where if you do certain things, you compromise respecting yourself, then that's when you got to go in. You got to go in for your self-respect, for your dignity. You don't always fight for respect. Sometimes you fight for your dignity, especially when it's super personal. When they're attacking you personally, now you got to fight for your dignity, for your self-respect, man. For respecting yourself, not letting somebody play with you like that. And that's what the case is. You stand up and fight for not letting people play in your face. You stand up and fight for your dignity because people playing in your face. You see what I'm saying? You don't let people play with your dignity. It's a subject that many people don't talk about, your dignity. And I want to do a real good study on it, because it's not respect. It's not one and the same. Nah. Because let's say, for example, you're walking down the street. Maybe you go into a store, right? And it could be a case of dignity, but it could be a case of just surface respect, where somebody disrespects you. You know what I'm saying? And it's not as deep as dignity, and it's just people don't know how to respect people, and it's not that personal. See, when it gets personal, that's when it starts to attack your dignity. If it's just a matter of respect, like, okay, you being in the line and somebody else being in the line and somebody ain't, That kind of stuff happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? And that's not somebody just personalizing it towards you. That's just kind of that's principles. That's just rules and regulations. See, rules and regulations and principles that we all stand by, that don't really attack your personal respect. That's not, personalized towards you. But when it is, and when you know it is, and they talking about you being a pedophile, or they talking about some stuff like that, that's attacking your dignity. That means you gotta go to war for your self-respect. And see, niggas ain't gonna see it like that. You see what I'm saying? Now you at war because of self-respect. For your self-respect. Not letting people play with, like, you respect yourself enough not to let people play with you like that. That's what it is. And see, only a real soul survivor, a ghetto soul survivor, gonna be able to talk about it like that. Yeah, ain't none of these young dudes gonna be able to talk about no dignity. You know what I'm saying? Dignity, because it almost sounds feminine to some people. You know what I'm saying? But nah, you as a grown man, you got dignity. That's right. Which goes into your self-respect. As a human being, you ain't gonna let nobody come out here and play with you and they ain't got no charges. You know what I'm saying? Nah, because I know you scared of these gangsters. And we gonna install fear in you the right way. We gonna do it our way. Because like I said, we gonna be respected like the mob. As God's people, we gonna be respected like the mob, man. If you don't know now, I'm not a tricky person. But if you listen to my speech and you think you're gonna find something to get us off your head, you think you're gonna find something when I'm talking for me to contradict myself, nah, buddy, that's low level. You think you're gonna find me saying something or something you can find to incriminate me or to take respect from me? It's not gonna work, because the bottom line is I've already done enough already for respect that I can't mess it up. I can't even mess it up. Like me talking about marrying children in your country, I can't mess that up. How? That's sealed, signed, sealed, delivered. It's mine. It's signed, sealed, delivered, buddy. I ain't gotta do nothing. I ain't gotta jump through no hoops and say something to get validation based on that. I already got it. See, see how I know you ain't a street nigga? Because you don't understand the chess moves in the game. It's a series of chess moves, and I'm making them. Like you marrying children, talking about I'm a pedophile. Checkmate. You marry children as Americans. You didn't even know. I won that. That's it. What game you want to play next? Because I won that. You listen, buddy. You ain't got no moves to make after that. The end for a real man or a real woman. Okay? I'm not even, listen, I don't even got to bluff. I'm not even bluffing. It's not a front. I'm not faking it till I make it, in other words. I don't have to fake it till I make it. That's checkmate. You marrying children. You came out here. You can't say you wasn't interested in these dynamics because you was talking all about these children, all this jazz about these children. So you can't say it's not important to you. That's all you did this for. And then we find out you marrying children. Checkmate, buddy. No, listen. Checkmate. Ain't no psychological games gonna work. Ain't none of that gonna work. Only a clown gonna think in a clown's world, looking around in the real world where they marry children, that you gonna do something out and you gonna get out of that. And it's real cases of people marrying children, by the way. Right here in New York, from 2010 to 2019, you had 385,496 cases of child marriage. That's almost 500,000 cases in New York alone. In New York, you almost had half a million cases of child marriage. And you think what you gonna do? What move you gonna make that is gonna match that? So even though New York got rid of it, you still got 385,496 cases from 2010 to 2019 that's valid, even though they got rid of it. That means nobody else can do it no more. But that don't make the cases that they certified invalid because they got rid of it. So you still have 500,000 children, almost 500,000 that got married right here in New York. You got that? Good. That's for all 5 boroughs. You can't see me. You got 385,496 cases from 2010 to 2019. That's the 21st century. They was doing it in the 21st century. Okay? 385,496 cases in New York alone. That's in New York alone. In the state of New York alone. 385,496 cases. They still valid. That's all I'm saying. That's checkmate over any psychology. We don't care about that. You know what? Let me help you understand something as far as dimensions. In the dimension of psychology versus tangible and physical, physical and tangible will always triumph over psychology. It can never rank as high as tangible, because in order for psychology to be meaningful, it always has to be acted out, or it has to manifest. Other words, is you in other forms, psychology, if not brought into the tangible world, it is almost worthless. It doesn't benefit anybody, not even you. Psychology benefits no one if it is no manifestations in the real world. Okay? What does it mean? Nothing. You seen something on somebody's mind, it's not going to matter as long as he ain't out here tangibly doing anything to children. It's not going to matter as long as he is not physically harming children. So this is a perfect example. If you think you got pedophilia thoughts on a person, as long as it don't come into the physical world, it has to submit to the physical world's definitions and facts and reality. It has to submit to the reality of real time. Psychology can never triumph over real time. That means anything you think you want to be in life, if it's all in your head and you never manifest it, or you never have any actions, this is another example. It's going to be subject to reality. It was nothing. You knew all this information and you sat on it. You did nothing with it. And it doesn't matter. This is all still in the psychology realm. You know all this information. You might have even went to school and got information in your head, right? Even about psychology. But if you didn't go and become a doctor, what was it worth? Oh, just for you to know stuff? But what could you do with it? What did you do with it to come into the real world where you have real needs? And you know what I'm saying? If it don't affect your real needs and real things in your real environment, man, anything you talk about, it has to affect the real environments of our world. And that's how we win. So we don't care nothing about psychology, because as long as it don't come into the real world, ain't nobody out here in the streets gonna care. They might not say it as intelligently as I've said it, but they gonna say, long as that person ain't out here messing with no kids, we don't care what you're talking about. That's it. That's the same thing. So we don't care what's on his mind, long as he don't come out here and mess with none of these kids. That's what they gonna tell you. That's what gangsters, killers, and everything else gonna tell you. They ain't gonna say, oh, well, we are concerned about what's on his mind. Ain't nobody gonna say that. They gonna say, as long as, this is most of them gonna say, as long as he ain't out here, we don't care. That's all we care about. Is he out here in the real world doing something to kids in the real world? We don't care nothing about that stuff you talk about. That's 7 out. So see, now, welcome to my world. In the real world, where you marry children. You marry children in the real world. While you a clown in psychology world. You marry children in the real world as Americans. while you a clown playing psychological games. This is a reality you can't get away from, but because you a psychological clown, you try to hide in the psychology world. But everybody else is in the real world, so listen, that's going to triumph over you, even you, as an entity in the psychological world. You actually are in the psychological world, buddy. We in the real world. You see the difference? Just like I said, it's psychology versus manifestations and things in the real world. We are in the real world. You, as secret society people and Freemasons, are in the psychological world, literally. Cartoons in the psychological world. We in the real world. So who you think is going to win when everybody lives in the real world? I'm going to win. When they see that you marry children. Oh, bestiality with animals. Oh, you have sex with animals in West Virginia. In the state of West Virginia, you have sex with animals. What else you want to talk about? See, I can address anything because I'm a real head honcho, right? I'm a real head honcho. I can talk about anything you want to talk about. Long as you can talk about it intelligently, not like a monkey. Like with the brain of a monkey. Doing monkey business, throwing monkey wrenches in people's days and daily lives, playing psychological games, throwing monkey wrenches in people's psychology. Okay? I can talk about anything you want to talk about as long as we talk about the real world, buddy. You marry children in the real world. Right in New York, you marry children. In New York, you still got in America, you still got 34 states of child marriage. You still marrying children right here in America. And what you want to talk about in the psychological world, we don't care. Because we know you playing games in that world anyway. That's definitely the checkmate. Once you play games in that world, but you ain't just sitting back. No, you ain't just sitting back. You playing games. Oh, we win. Because now all we gonna stress to people is, oh, they playing games psychologically. They play around people's head. Okay, so then nah. We don't even acknowledge what you talking about psychologically. Because listen, how it get thrown out in the courts of the streets in the jungle is because once you play psychological games. Not testing people. Nah, you try to slap it on. You try to slap on psychological stuff because you wasn't winning. You try to throw on these images to people's mind about children because you wasn't winning. You throwing images of children to people's mind because you wasn't winning. Once you did that, it all gets thrown out. Once we know in the psychological world, you throwing images to people's head and playing psychological games and putting children in our way in the streets. Once you did that, not sitting back watching us, you was proactive about not testing us, trying to accuse us, trying to make it stick. The things that you accused us of, you was proactive about trying to make it stick. Once you played psychological games to make it stick, we won. If you would have just left it alone and let our psychology be what it is, and then try to accuse it, just leaving it alone and then trying to accuse it, then you might have would have had somebody. Then you might have would have been able to get people to entertain you accusing us psychologically or our mind psychologically. Once you played one game, all it needed to be was one game. That's it. Because now we see that you are the type of person that when you don't have nothing on somebody psychologically, you would try to make it happen. You would try to put something on somebody psychologically. And that's the end, sucker. Ain't nobody honoring that. I don't care what come across my mind no more, because once I knew you was playing psychological games, trying to play wizardry, witchcraft images, putting them against people's mind, we won. Because ain't nobody going to believe in that. No. Not once you did that. Now, if you would have just left it alone, that would have been another different situation. But once you became like these dirty cops trying to throw evidence into the situation, and then that's it, we won. That's how it's going to get thrown out, even in court. If they find that you threw any and planted any information or planted anything into the crime scene, it's over with. It's getting thrown out. It ain't like, well, this part might be true. Nah, we don't care what part is true. We see your motives. And that throws it out. Your motives is to just throw this on this person, no matter if it's true or not. Once you throw images at our mind, that proves you don't care if we a good person or not. You just want us to fit this narrative. That's it. That's all you want us to do. You ain't dealing with no dummy. And God sees it like this. In an infinite more. He see everything else. God ain't see, you ain't bamboozling God. You forgot. God is on my side. I'm a real prophet, buddy. I'm not out here on my own alone. You forgot about that. So we send in money and put money on people's head. That's what we doing. We ain't waiting on nobody. We ain't waiting no longer. I done sent money to Mexico yesterday to one of the most dangerous place in Mexico. I found a church in the most dangerous place in Mexico. And I sent it there because that's going to be the most toughest saints in Mexico. I'm going to get with the toughest saints that understand conspiracy, death, and murder, and plotting and scheming. Not to a church in any country in the world where they're in a controlled environment, suburban environment. They don't halfway understand the streets. Nah, I'm going to send it to a church that understands the streets. So I got to send it to a church in the most dangerous neighborhoods in the world. Now, them Christians right there gonna understand conspiracy, scheming, murder, secret societies, witchcraft. They gonna believe in all of that. See, that's why I do that. People think I'm trying to be cute. Nah, I'm gonna send it to. I'm gonna work with churches in the toughest neighborhood because I know they gonna understand what we going through. I know they ain't gonna doubt it and think we losing our mind and think we tripping. See, if you mess around with the wrong and give offerings and give a prayer request to the wrong churches, they gonna doubt you and say you tripping. They gonna say you tripping. They gonna say you mental. And if not that, they gonna turn around and think you should pray for these people. No. See, people in bad neighborhoods, they gonna understand, nah, man, sometimes people are persistent and they keep playing games and it's time to go to war about it. It's that simple. So that's one of the foundational reasons I send offerings to churches in really bad communities and neighborhoods, because they're going to have all the understanding. And the gang stalkers are not going to go into those neighborhoods. They're going to be too scared to go into them neighborhoods. See, if you start working with ministries that's in these weak neighborhoods, all that's going to happen is the same thing that's happening to you. They're going to have car convoys and ride around all around these churches where you sending offerings to if it's in a suburban neighborhood. So then the bad neighborhood works as a fort around the ministry that you're giving your offering to, where they ain't going to come into them neighborhoods and play with them people because they know better than that. Them punks, some street punks. That's what I call them, street punks. Hey, that's a street punk think he a thug, ain't, don't he? A street punk think he a gangster. All you got is weed and you know, you're a little punk. You know what I'm saying? You're a street punk. You thought you was dealing with a street punk over here. Nah, buddy. Nah, I keep it on me. I keep weapons on me. You tripping. You tripping. Hey, that's why I said I don't play with everybody. I don't assume nothing. That's how I survive. I don't walk out here arrogant with a chip on my shoulder like I just know what's going on. No, I peep what's going on. I watch. I keep my eyes open. And what it is what it is. Whether it's real or fake, suckers are real ones. Whatever it is, I'ma just size it up for what it is. I'ma let it be what it is. And what it is what it is. That's how you read situations and people. I don't come in thinking nothing. I don't come in thinking I know anything. That's the mistakes they made. I don't come in thinking I know nothing about anybody. And whatever you are, I'm going to let you be. And what you are is what you are. And it ain't my fault. When I show you yourself and I show you the words you said and I show you the games you played, hey, you can't say I misread you. That's why I believe all about the real world. You can't say I misread you. I let you be who you were. You said what you said. You moved how you moved. You did what you did. I saw what you did. Okay, so how you gonna blame me? How you gonna say I'm misreading you and misunderstanding you? You tripping. Nah, no. I let you, cause me, I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna let you do what you do. I'm gonna let you say what you say. I'm gonna let you do what you do. And then I'm gonna show people that. And ain't nothing you can say. And that's why people hate. My enemy's always gonna hate me because I'm gonna just quote you on everything you did. I'm gonna quote you. I'm gonna quote you on everything you've done. I'm gonna show people every move you made, every little goofy move you made, everything you've done, everything you're doing right now. And listen, what can you say? You can't say I misread you. See, that's why I don't read people. I don't try to read people. I'm gonna sit back and let you be yourself. And when you're yourself, you can't be mad when I call you on who you are. That's it. That's all, bro. That's all. That's how I do it. That's how I survive. From state to state, from California to the East Coast to the West Coast. I just let people be who they are. You know what I'm saying? I don't come in assuming you a sucker. I don't come in assuming you real either. I don't come in assuming nothing. I'm going to just let you be who you are. Then, okay, I'm going to see it for what it is. Okay, this person real, or this person fake, or et cetera, et cetera. That's it. I ain't going to come in, these dudes suckers. You know what I'm saying? If I start talking like that, it's because I got information. That's why. If I ever call somebody a sucker, that's because I got information to back that up. I don't just cliche and put that on somebody and just say, no. Not even when I'm mad. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get, matter of fact, I'm gonna always show people why I believe you a sucker. I'm gonna always show people why. Stuff out of pocket, stuff ain't normal, stuff that, like in this building right here, they still ain't fixed the microwave, right? That was, how long ago? Thanksgiving. So that's what, November, December, January, February, that's 3 months ago. You think I respect these people? You think I'm going to turn around and respect them and because they do something else? No, I'm not going to respect you till you do what you first supposed to do. And if you're doing it on purpose, I still don't obviously I don't respect you. So either way, I'm not going to respect you. So it ain't going to get better between me and you because you ain't fixed the microwave. And all you got to do is call HR and they going to fix it. I'm smarter than you thought. If you call HR, they got a whole, how you know what they got? You don't know, do you? Okay, so if they push those microwaves in there, how they ain't got more? Microwaves is nothing in 2026. I found the microwave before. Literally. I found the mic and it worked and I used it for a while and everything. I found microwaves before. Literally on the streets. It worked and everything. I can see if this was 1983, you know what I'm saying? You can't find a mic. You can't get the microwaves replaced because it's 1983. You know what I mean? I mean, that's real. Now, if it was 1983, okay, it's more harder to come by. You know, we in 2026. Ain't no way in the world you should be acting like a microwave is a problem to have. But you want me to come downstairs. And see, I'm smart enough to know that. You want me to come down there and have to interact with down there and everything like that. You know, and I'm smart enough to understand that. Okay then. So you're insulting my intelligence, but I'm still playing by the book because that's how classy I am. I'm going to still hold you to the book. And I'm smart enough to know, I got street intuition to know you're doing it on purpose. Because it's easy, I know that. It's easy to call HRA. Yo, we need microwaves. Boom. Oh, okay. How many do y'all need? All they gonna do is go to a warehouse that you know nothing about probably. Maybe you do. They're gonna go to a warehouse and get how many other microwaves you need. And you should have backup microwaves in the basement, but because you're not professional, all you got is what you got. You should have 2 or 3 backup microwaves. That's why I'm a boss man for real. You can't talk to me like I'm a worker. I'm a boss man. I think and talk like a boss man. I follow the chain of command in every situation. All you got to do is call HRA. Ain't no way in the world in the state of New York City ain't got microwaves in New York City. Imagine that. We ain't talking about Kentucky. We ain't talking about Kentucky, right? We're not in Kentucky, are we? We're not in Kentucky, ain't we? We ain't in Kentucky, or is we? We ain't in Kentucky, or is we? Okay, so in New York City, you telling me they ain't got no microwave somewhere? Man, come on, man. That's common sense, bro. That's common sense. You ain't pulling no wool over my eyes. I know you playing games on purpose, and God gonna curse you and make you suffer for it. Oh yeah. What you thought? We gonna curse you for that. You did it on purpose. Okay, we gonna curse you for it. Boom. Ow. All around. Around. All. Thought you got away with it, didn't you? Oh, well, no. We was cursing you the whole time. That's right, buddy. Listen, I ain't playing no games at all. I'm just letting you know I don't respect people, and the reason why. Oh, but I'm doing something about it too, by the way. Well, I cursed you. Anything that doesn't profit you, you curse. That's what you do. Anything that doesn't profit you, you curse. Being a nice guy, look how they'll do you if you're a nice guy. If you don't complain about it, if you don't raise hell about it, you see what I'm saying? Listen, look how they'll do you. They'll sit back on you and just play games, right? Okay, then then what I supposed to do? I supposed to curse you. That's what I supposed to do. See, that's how it's done. All them games, other stuff they thought about, or everything else thought. Nah, I ain't think about nothing else. I ain't thinking about nothing else actually. And that's how you do it. But otherwise, like, man, so can you imagine somebody trying to act like me and them cool and stuff, and then the microwave ain't fit? That ain't ghetto. That ain't the streets. If you acting like, how, this ain't the streets. So that's not like saying, oh, well, you a street dude, you should be able to conform. No. A real nigga ain't gonna conform, and he know you run a business. He gonna think about it like a smart drug dealer. But you thought I would think like a bum instead of a smart drug dealer. A smart drug dealer gonna think about the chain of command. The boss man. Oh, they got microwaves over there. He gonna think a head honcho drug dealer gonna say the same thing. He gonna come in here. He ain't gonna say, oh, this is the streets. I just conform. We did. I proved I could. But a head honcho is not gonna think like in terms of that. That I can make it. I can conform. Of course I can. But a head honcho gonna think similar to somebody that sells drugs. Oh, I'm gonna go to the chain of command to get this worked out. Yeah, I know they got microwaves somewhere around here. You think I'm gonna just conform and there's some dusty microwaves around here somewhere, just waiting to be used? And that's why I don't respect people, because like a real man will do, even in his own household with his family. If I told you to do something and you don't do it, listen, that's the last place we left off right there. That's what your daddy will tell you. Didn't I tell you to do that? Okay, so then me right there is the last place we left. And if you think you're going to insult my intelligence, we gonna go over that? No, we're not gonna go over that. We gonna stay right here. He'll tell his own wife, didn't I tell you to do this? Okay, so then what's going on? Okay, so then that's the last place me and you were, where I was where we needed to get something done seriously, right? Okay, that didn't get done, right? Okay, so then this is where the confusion is. This is where the disrespect is. You see what I'm saying? This is where the disrespect is. And see, that's people that can have real relationships, because I ain't gonna go just in this dysfunctional spiral. Nah, I'm gonna pinpoint where the problem started. That's where the problem started for me. Once that microwave haven't been fixed through after Thanksgiving, look how long ago that was. That means during Christmas, none of that microwave wasn't fit. And then you think I'm gonna smile in your face, I want something to do with you. But then in my holidays, if it was left up to you, I couldn't even enjoy my holidays comfortably. I couldn't even enjoy my Christmas and New Year's Eve comfortably because of that. I got to go downstairs and burn my hands. I got burned right now on my hand that's still there because of carrying hot food around from long distances and stuff, and opening doors, trying to have hot food, trying to open doors. That's why I don't respect them. So while you think I'm being a jerk or I'm being an animal, I can show you where the disrespect started. And I ain't had nothing to do with it, right? Right. So, that's just what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? I just keep things actual and factual as a real man do. You know what I'm saying? I don't go no further. I don't know. That's what children do. I don't go no further. I leave it right there. Because that shows me who you are. That shows me who I am. That shows people who I am. And that's that, bro. If I go any further, it also shows people who I am. No, I'm going to stay right there. I'm going to stay right there. And while you question people's mental health, they going to think you the craziest nuts in the world. They going to think y'all the craziest bastards in the world for not fixing that microwave. That's just, or putting in an order for it for a new one to be brought in. They gonna think y'all crazy with every day that pass by. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. While you questioning my mental health now, they gonna think you psychotic. Because you trying to torture this person. Yeah, you trying to make him do what you want him to do. That's a form of torture. That's how people look. But it ain't strong enough to have that effect on me though. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about it. See, sometimes men like me, we are so strong, your attempts to torture us ain't gonna work. I'm too strong, my neck too fat. My neck is too fat, buddy. You can't torture me. You know what I'm saying? But see, I can see how a little lame would think he can for these little soft niggas. You know what I'm saying? But my neck too fat for you to torture me, buddy. That's all I'm saying. So I just leave it in a place where it look like you crazy and out your mind while you think you tortured me. You know, that's all I'm saying. So like I said, we gonna put money on these people's head. That's how we gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? That's how we gonna do it. We ain't gonna sit up and try to work. We ain't trying to work nothing out. We gonna put money on these people's head. That's what we gonna do. We gonna do it God's way. We're going to put the offering before God, and God is going to respond to physical human beings who oppose us. Okay? That's how we're going to do it. And while they sitting back and thinking it's all good, listen, we done put money on their head. I done sent money to Mexico. You know what I'm saying? $4 million over there to the Middle East. Oh, how he sent $4 million? I know he ain't got $4 million. You stupid. USD, the value exchange is $4 million in other countries. Stupid. Don't know no better. You don't know no better. So that's for the police and everything. Ain't no market. Listen, God will let the mark of the beast happen when he wanted to. God will let the mark of the beast happen. Ain't no mark of the beast happening until God wanted it to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. God going to destroy America before the mark of the beast. They think they're going to enjoy the mark of the beast world. It's going to be destroyed. America going to be destroyed because America will not give up its sovereignty to join the one world government. So what has to happen? The fall of America before the mark of the beast. Boom. Well, think about it. America, all these Texans and rednecks in the South, they ain't giving up their sovereignty to be in some. They don't think like those retarded secret societies where they want to be evil and glitzy and evil. We're gonna join the one world government. We're gonna be with the 3-6. That's retarded stuff to them. As far as joining that stuff, these Texans and Southern white veterans is not giving up their sovereignty for free. So that tells you the present system has to be destroyed and pulled down, and then they would join the one world government as Americans. So see, the fall of America is inevitable, buddy. You ain't gonna make it survive. What you thought is you was gonna keep this country afloat into the mark of the beast, and it will float into it. It will float into it. No, it's not gonna float into it. It's gonna sink into it. And everybody come out the boat and swim to shore and decide to join the one world government because the American community is gone. Now you see where we're going. The punchline is the fall of America is inevitable. It's inevitable. Okay? It's going to happen. Because in order for it to be what you keep insinuating, 3-6 well, let me inform you. As far as the mark of the beast and 666, that America got to fall for that to happen. Oh, you thought they would just get innovative and go into it. No, it's not going to happen like that. They're going to collapse and be so desperate that they join the one world government in order to survive. It's going to be an act of survival to the Americans, in other words. And how we know, why would men that's on top in the world give up their sovereignty to join a one world government? Because of evil. Just because of evil. No, other evil is greed and hoarding and being on top. That evil ain't going to join the other evil. They going to be evil saying, nah, we rule the world as Americans. That evil won't make them go over there. Oh, you didn't think about that, did you? So then, in all actuality, you didn't look at the whole timeline of how the mark of the beast or the 666 would even happen. You know how it happened? For you little lames that act like you signifying towards it. The only way it's going to happen if America dies. And in desperation, they join the one world government, idiot. And how we know, why would America, or any country for that matter, give up their #1 spot over the rest of the world to join the one world government because of evil? Who gonna do that? Nobody's gonna do that. So, the prophet showed you something that you didn't think about. What you're insinuating is as far as the timeline is, your inevitable destruction. Which means you ain't gonna be riding around sounding sirens signaling to 3-6. You ain't gonna have that capability. In fact, you're gonna be so desperate. That's the only reason it's gonna happen for America is desperation to survive. Desperation to survive. That's the only reason you're gonna join it, sucker. Which tells a smart man that in order for that to happen, for you to be that desperate, this country got to completely fall, buddy. Nothing, none of this, none of that, ain't none of that gonna be there. And then they gonna join all together to survive. Stupid. Stupid, bro. That's the only way you gonna survive. And you ain't gonna, because how we know the South is who's gonna resist. These Southern people gonna resist. You New Yorkers, you'll sell your soul for a pack of crackers. The South is who is gonna resist. The South is who's gonna resist. The South is gonna say, no, we ain't giving up our sovereignty to join a one world government where all these people come together. America would never do that. The South will never do that. So how's it gonna happen? In reality, now that you know that and think about that part, they gonna be in complete desperation and the whole country falls apart. Then they will have no choice. That's how bad it's gonna be. You see how bad it gotta be? That's a night and day difference from the America right now to then. It's gonna be a night and day difference from now to then. In order for them to survive, that makes perfect common sense. Because ain't none of these Americans gonna just give up America to join some little dumb group like you. You would do it because you're retarded. They not. The South ain't gonna do that. The South ain't gonna give up their sovereignty in this country and them being #1 over the world and the advantage they have over other countries to join everybody and be on an even playing ground. So then what happens? In all actuality, in reality, in the real world, not in the psychology world, what happens is this all falls apart and the American community will be so desperate to survive that they would join a one world government. Voila, there you go, buddy. So all you're insinuating to me, when you do 3-6s or insinuate that, all you insinuating to a prophet is, do you know that America's going to fall before that probably happens? The whole thing, which means you ain't gonna be walking around on you ain't gonna be laying in your bed on laptops talking about, it's the one world government time. You ain't gonna be doing that. You're gonna be desperate, half of y'all gonna die when all of that happens. You ain't gonna be around here. And who's left is gonna join the one world government. Ain't no way in the world you're going to tell me that's going to happen without disaster. And then America just say, yeah, well, we just going to join it. The South is who's going to resist it. All you people up here, you'll sell your soul for a lollipop. The South ain't going out like that. Nope. You'll have a civil war before that happens. There you go. Either way it goes, it's no way around it. If America decides to join some one world government or community, the South is going to resist that, and it's going to be a civil war again. Ain't no way in the world, man. See, you in the clown world. You went from Boy Scouts to secret societies. It's these certain kind of clowns that love joining these groups, even from the time they was children. You know, you them type of people, man. Ain't listen. The rest, the South ain't giving up America like that. They gotta be desperate enough to do that, and what it's gonna take is total destruction. Like I told you, the system's gonna be shut down, and then now to survive, because their system shut down, they go in and join another system to survive, for their citizens to survive. See, that's how it's gonna happen, most likely. Because the system's got to be shut down. That's all. It's coming. Oh, it's coming. Oh yeah, the system's gonna be shut down. So you ain't gonna be riding around with your little group like y'all gang. You know what I'm saying? And having this celebration. It ain't gonna work like that, little buddy. You live in a fantasy world. You're living in the fantasy world. And the funny thing is, 666 comes from the Bible. Well, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but if you were satanic, shouldn't you be coming up with your own numbers? And that's biblical. 666 is not satanic. That's prophecy, actually. Oh, listen, that hit different when the prophet tell you, don't it? That's 7 hours. Listen, buddy, listen. 666 is from the Bible. You a stupid little dumb person, ain't you? 666 is from the Bible. It didn't come from a satanic book, did it? It didn't come from a satanic book, did it? You're a retarded person, ain't you? 666 comes from the Bible, dummy. That's prophecy. So, I mean, if it was me, you know, if I was satanic, I wouldn't use Bible prophecy. Even if it's a signification of something evil, it still is from the Bible, though. It still originated from the Bible. Don't you think that's a little corny for you to be signifying 666? It don't make sense to me anymore. Because it comes from the Bible. You got that from shock rock culture. 666, that ain't really got nothing to do with the devil. How? I mean, it's the mark of the beast, so to say, but it really don't signify necessarily an evil person. It's just a stamp that gets on the own people, the people that get on with stamps. It doesn't even, in fact, 666 is going to be put on more people that's not even satanic, that don't even worship the devil. It's going to be on stupid people that out of desperation, they get the mark of the beast out of desperation. So in all, it's going to be more people with that mark that don't even worship Satan. They just were stupid, and out of desperation to take care of themselves, they took the mark of the beast. But the bottom line is this: it comes from the Bible. Shouldn't you come up with your own numbers and own things? 666 has nothing to do. That's biblical. You feel like an idiot. You know, it's just like because you follow little teenage dummies that thought they were being satanic. Talk about 666. It was ignorance. Whoever started it was ignorant. To make it a symbol of satanic people, it was ignorance. It comes from the Bible.